Oh, hi everyone.
Good morning,
So today I am sat here with my good friend Timothy.
Timothy.
Timothy to me, but as most of you know, Tim Wild. So we're just going to sit and chat, right? Just chat
Yeah,
about things, life, real, heart open. We've got our drinks, so
cacao.
we've got our cacao, and we're in a beautiful place.
It's the perfect spot.
Badbury Rings, so Dorset, so it's lovely.
Dorset, UK.
And you can hear, we'll give you a moment to just hear the background. The bird song, it's
A little bit of
gorgeous.
tweeting.
It's gorgeous, I love it. Okay, so Tim, for those who might not know you, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, I am Timothy Wild.
I love that. I love it.
Well, it is funny enough. It is my name, isn't it? You kind of like you choose your name before you come down to this planet, and then it's like, do you know what? I think I'll abbreviate that. But so your name carries all of your lessons that you choose to come through with, and I am. Do you know? I don't like the word expert. I work in the field of Ascension.
Yeah.
My interests are Atlantis, crystals, the everything that is going on this planet at the time. The energetic shifts, the processes that we as very human humans are going through.
Yeah.
And I'm always asked, what do I, like you people ask you, what do you do for a living? And it's like, do you know what? I haven't got a clue.
You can't just say lollipop lady, can you?
You
There's
can't.
no
It's
title.
like, oh, I'm a banker or I'm a lawyer or something. I work in the field of spirituality and ascension, and I suppose some would consider me a teacher or a guide. So that's what I do.
Yes, and to say, personally, it's been a huge guide and help for my pathway, and I know for many people out there. I've beautifully had a few people around me who have helped me with understand my path, and Tim's been one of them. He's been one of them. I have had many times where I've called and gone, what's this?
What's
Help!
going on?
I'm scared, I'm confused, or I don't know what this is, or am I going insane? We've had many conversations. So from my heart, and I know many people out there that you have helped, definitely a guide, definitely a teacher, so thank you.
Thank you,
I
Karen.
heart bow from my heart and the rest of the world to you for that,
likewise. Thank you.
because the answers or understanding to find our own answers ourselves, to weave, sometimes the information you trickle through is just perfect for us to go and flood the new earth, so to speak, with what's needed.
Well, this is it. At the moment we are, I mean, I've said in interviews and updates and workshops, we will never experience a period of time on Earth like this again. It's a good job that it's being recorded in the Akash and the halls of Amenti, because you would never be able to recreate it, you'd never be able to re-simulate it. The conditions under which we are transforming, that we are experiencing, are so utterly unique. They were not predicted prior to what we are experiencing, and we can only deal with them as we are moving through them. Which is why, like you say, it's we've all got so many questions, we've all got so many. The human mind wants an explanation for absolutely everything, and we also want to know what's going to happen in the future. But what's coming through very strongly at the moment is that that's not written. It's all down to the individual and the collective co-creations of us as just individuals and as a collective and Ascension unity. So it's a very interesting place to be, and I feel very honoured to kind of like actually be like, you know, boots on the ground and doing this.
Absolutely.
And I'd just like to say how much you have assisted me over the years as well, Karen, because
thank you.
you hold a very sacred space for me and many others as well.
That reflection, right? That reflection, which is what we had a little chat earlier, and I was saying that I think that people connectiveness at the moment of truth and authenticity and love is just huge at the moment. More sacred spaces are being formed. More people's powers or magic, however you want to perceive it, are coming through. This is that waking up. Energetically, I'm loving this space of how the mind, body, soul, spirit, earth, up there, down there, everything is connecting.
Yeah.
A lot of the work that I'm feeling at the moment is being pulled to, like you say, the boots on the ground, you know, the here, the rising of this vibration, and realizing the connective of the ways of being the human experience.
Yeah, it's got to be human.
Yeah.
It's got to be human. I mean, when I began doing this, I mean, I've had my toes dipped in the pond for decades.
Yeah.
You know, reading, assimilating information, connecting to the angels, discovering crystals, healing, finding people on my pathway, which back in the other days, it was very thin on the ground. We're very blessed to have all of this huge level of interconnectivity now. So back in those days, it was all up there. I didn't want to be on the ground. I didn't want to be here at all.
How many times have I said to you, isn't it? Like, got to be here, Tim.
Yeah, you got to be grounded,
here.
man. You got to be grounded. You got to be in the present moment. You've got to be feeling. You've got to be experiencing. And so that's been a massive lesson. But
I've seen that beautiful shift. But you needed that, yeah. I needed you to be there, to be here, and so did everyone else. That's part of it.
I mean, ultimately, that's still where I lie. You know, the information coming in without that flow of that flow of communication coming in from the higher realms. Without those kind of marker points, it would be very much more difficult for me to ascertain what this process is about. And I really started breaking it down at the beginning of 2020, when all of the lockdown nonsense occurred. But it also provided us with a very good opportunity to step back, realise who we were. Wake up millions of people, which was fantastic. Yeah. But it was at that point that I thought, right, an analysis of this energy is what is needed. An analysis of what's going on will be the perfect way forward. So, hence, I mean, I believe that kind of YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, used in the correct way, are an absolute blessing.
Isn't everything?
Isn't it?
Everything that you use, however you use something, anything could be, I see it as like a poison or a blessing.
Yeah.
So anything could be a poison that might be good for someone else if you use it in a different frequency. So it's the same as, like we say, social media sometimes does get a bit of a hate culture, but if you use it in the right way with the right frequency, then it's like everything else. It's okay.
It's
okay. And I think you mentioned then, I was aware when you mentioned about being in the present moment, about how sort of the containment of the time that people had to spend alone, that basically that did get them to learn to be in the present moment. How do you go about, do you live like that still now that we're opened into the world? Do you still live in the present moment? How do you go about your day? I know I did a video a couple of days ago about making sure that you are still in every single present moment of how you want to be, taking that power and that control back.
it's a work in progress, and I believe it's something that we have to focus on, we have to be dedicated with, we have to train to do that, because the society that we've lived in, I mean, we've the Earth School that once was, that existed in the third dimension, was very much geared towards separation, worrying about where the next moment's going to come from, you know, how are we going to survive, how are we going to deal with this, all of this overstimulation.
Is that the threat of living?
A lot of it is survival.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean, we're having to heal from being perpetually in survival mode, and it'd be very easy to look at the world at the moment and go, well, it's a dangerous place, you know, I fear for my future, but again, it's about point of intention and what we're creating. So that it's something that we have to work on, because you can bring yourself back to the present moment 1,000 times a day if you've got to do it, but it's so important.
And I think it goes back to, it depends how your lifestyle is and where you channel your energy, where you put your time. It's like, I find it fascinating, because you'll say there, like, the world can be quite threatening out there. I don't see any of it, but you know, I very much live in my bubble.
Yeah.
You know, I don't watch TV. I don't have a TV.
It's
just in
good thing
case,
it's like
just in
out
case
the window with
any
it, you know what I mean?
licensed people are watching. But yeah, so it's kind of like, I choose to put my time elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't have children. I don't have, you know, I'm on my own, so I can have that time of isolation, and it feels safe and it feels great. And anything that during my life has been a threat has had to go. You know, the path has weaved that it's either taken it away from me or had to leave in a certain way. So I'm kind of, when people say to me, like, you know, the world's quite scary out there at times, and I'm just like, is it?
Is it?
Because I live in the woods, or I live, you know, so it is where you kind of put your energy to. So being in the present moment, I try and get to people, is always an option. It's always an option, because if you're somewhere you don't want to be, then why are you there?
Exactly.
But I say this to so many people go, yeah, but that's easy for you because you
live in the woods, drinking cacao.
I know, right? And it's, there you go, that's where it's at. But it's like, but you can make the changes. And do you think sometimes that people will make excuses?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we all make excuses, don't we? It's the human condition.
Yeah.
And it's funny, because we think that we are in a state of, like, you know, it's almost like we think we're in a state of severe disadvantage down here at the moment, you know, like, and that everybody else has got it better up in the higher realms. But once we've navigated the period that we're going through, and we've mastered being human, we've mastered ourselves, we've stepped into a state of sovereignty, and we've got to the
love that word.
and we've achieved, like, the golden calf of Ascension sort of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there. You know, if you talk to anybody in the higher realms, if you like converse with a member of the Intergalactic Council, say somebody who's got human experience, I'm not talking about the angelics, they do tend to have it a little bit, sorry, but you know, it's they've got their work cut out, but they don't have the kind of the human, the burden, so to speak. It's a specific choice in the soul, on the soul level of incarnation. Anybody, say for example on the Intergalactic Council, will tell you, but like, our days are busy, they are full, we are creating, we are working, we are making sure that the cosmos is running efficiently. So it just means that you move from one state of frequency to another, but it's how you deal with what you are being presented with. And at the moment, human beings around the world are waking up. There's like this wildfire of awakening occurring, which is incredible. But in the process of doing so, we've got to remember how to be again. And that is why I believe, and you've mentioned people choosing or being presented with choices. You know, where would you rather be? What would you rather be doing? What provides you with that heart-centeredness?
Yeah.
And so people are choosing to come away from the social media. They're actually making the decision that they don't want to be online so much. They're coming to groups, boots on the ground. They're
real
taking
connectiveness. This
real connectiveness.
This here, you know, that real like togetherness.
Absolutely.
Because that's where it's real,
Yeah.
right? It's where it was before everything was plonked on it, as I like to think.
Absolutely. It's like I'll never forget. There's a line from the movie The Crow. Back in it was a brilliant movie, and there's the guy's like, "This is the really real world." You know what I mean? It's it is now. Yeah. This process is getting real. It's not something that we're talking about in classes. You know, this is every day. It's 24/7. We're now navigating the reality of moving into this higher frequency and becoming solely responsible for our thoughts, our words, our deeds, our actions, how we respond to the projections of others, the situations that are created around us, and all of a sudden it's just going to click. Yeah. And I feel that many people are starting to feel that click at the moment. Yeah. What do I want? Yeah. You know, what do I want from my life? What makes me happy? Yeah. It's not about what do I need to achieve, or how many, you know, how can I fill my day with being productive that looks good to somebody else. It's about what we need. Yeah. And that's a big realization in the field. And that's it. It's like when you've mastered yourself, that is unity. Yeah. Because everyone is their own master, but collectively. Yeah. And that is huge at the moment. I used to have lots of people around me that would say, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is. That seems to have drifted off slightly. I've said it. And that seems to have drifted off slightly. And people have got to a stage now where they're going, I just need to be. Yeah. Like they just need to be. So the frequency, I think, in the last month has just literally shifted into that. Absolutely. Of like, I just need to be. And this is where this sitting in circle, this is where these sacred spaces, for however it works for people, has become more powerful than the drive of, like you say, trying to find and please and live on that type of frequency. Absolutely. I mean, I used to ask the question all the time, like, who was I in that past life, and what was I doing then? Can I and it becomes inconsequential, to a degree. Yeah. I mean, what we are bringing through is a skill set or gifts and talents that we're remembering from who we were previously. But those identities and those personas are irrelevant to who we are in the present moment. And that's something that I had to work through and learn quite. You know, I had one foot in Atlantis. I didn't, you know, I was quite happy over there, sort of thing, and one foot over here, and that was not working. I felt kind of very divided, very split, didn't really kind of I wasn't applying myself fully to where I was here and now, bringing some lovely work through, but it wasn't helping me on a personal level. So I needed that, and this is something I try and promote, I suppose, is that I try and say this is where living in the moment, living in the now, you hear the answers without the labels. I think most people know that I'm not a label lover. Label-less. Free spirit, that's the only label I want. Yeah. So, and I think and that's what I try to say to people. When I meet people and they kind of try and have all this load of information, these loads of like understanding, like you said, understanding like on where I come from and all that history and stuff. And I think if you just sit and be, it talks to you through your body. It's one of the most difficult lessons, is sitting and listening. The body just tells you, right? It's like, it is sitting and listening. It is. It makes me wonder how long ago did we forget to do that? At one point, did we disconnect and did we stop listening to our bodies? Yeah. I don't think it was that long ago. I think there has always been that kind of natural level of communication, but everything got real artificial really quickly, really pressurised really quickly. And then all of a sudden, here we are. We've come back to we've come back to like almost like the 0 point where we need to be authentically here in the now, doing what we love doing. That's the point. That's what I'm taking away from, like, particularly the solstice energies, is I've got to be doing what I love. And nothing, and this is the message for everybody else tuning in. If you are not loving what you are doing, if there is something that you are applying your energy to and it's not serving you, it's going to fall away. It's one of these things that it will naturally become almost toxic to the system. That's the only way to describe it. It becomes a toxicity. And that's the frequency of where we are.
And something will keep repeating the pattern. Something will keep showing it until you change it.
Like treading on Lego 10 times a day.
You will learn. And this is the universe screaming.
Ow.
You will learn. I've had many lessons like that, and I'm sure we all have.
Me too.
So if anyone's out there and they are, because I'm feeling some people are feeling a bit lost almost. I see it lost in their skin, in their body.
Just going to kneel up a second.
No, do you think that, what would you say to people that are feeling lost? Have you felt lost?
I felt lost, but I felt lost in a way where...
Would you like some more cacao?
Oh, I'll go for a little drop. Thank you very much. I haven't quite finished the last lot, but the top up will do nicely.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Skull. That's good. That's good. Yeah, lost.
Thank you, Mama Cacao.
Thank you. Lost is something I think that we all feel until we've reconnected with our home energy. So I think, you know, even the most accomplished people can still feel lost, because you've got to reconnect with yourself. And until that point, you're going to feel that sense of loss. You're going to sense that feel of something's missing. And that's why human beings can kind of like be perpetually looking for substitutes for the endorphin hit, for the you know, for that rush.
Unhealthy behaviours, as I like to call them.
Unhealthy behaviours,
that
exactly.
don't serve where you want to be trying to get or achieve. But part of the lessons that
absolutely
you learn to be grateful for, right?
You do. I mean, I've been kind of, over the years, particularly on the spiritual pathway, there have been, I've had a tendency to overwork or overtrain with whatever, you know, like with my kickboxing, and so, like, you know, even the healthy things need to be brought back into a state of healthy balance.
This goes back to what we were saying earlier, where anything can be a poison or be a healthy frequency. So you've got the two. Something like fitness, really good for you, but not if you're using it to avoid.
Exactly.
Right? If you're using it as a form of avoidance or a form of, you know, almost like an abuse on self, then the frequency is not okay. And then it's looking at that, isn't it? Like, why is this here? What is it that's within me that needs to change?
Massive learning.
That you need
massive
to
learning
see.
curve, massive pathway, isn't it?
We all have them. We all have these huge, the unhealthy behaviours of weave to get to here, to be the lessons of life, to allow. I always see it as storytelling.
Yeah, I love the way you describe that. It is a story.
It's stories. That's all we're doing. We're all telling our stories and passing and weaving information within each other of whatever's coming through. And being open to that is where you receive the lessons of learning. That resonates with you. Some things won't.
Definitely.
But you were saying, so... Oh, I could talk to you all day about unhealthy behaviours. Have a list.
It's the funny thing is they're all lessons, though, aren't they? You turn the unhealthy behaviours into a an assessment of self, and then a correction. They're just marker points for things that are shouting out, like, you know, that ball of pain that's been undiagnosed, it's not been looked at, it's been ignored. That's your gateway in there. So
I just had a pearl come to me then.
Did
You know,
you?
like something's being crushed.
Yeah.
So like almost the trauma's just on top, and as you crush, this beautiful pearl
Of course it does.
comes out,
That's exactly what happens.
shining.
It's a beautiful process, but a lot of the time this is why people are finding it such a challenge at the moment, because there's no evading it anymore.
Avoidance.
The funny thing is, we
It's
had
happening.
a choice previously to avoid.
Yeah.
We had a choice.
Yeah.
We could, if you wanted to duck and dive, bob and weave, get yourself out of the way of it, ignore it.
Love that terminology.
You could easily do so, but now the universe has provided us with a platform of energy where that is no longer possible.
Yeah.
So you have no. Sorry to sound a little bit kind of absolute here. The way that our energy is being constructed around us at this time, there is no more opportunity to be living in a state of self-untruth, to not be serving at the highest level. It's almost like a choice was made by Mother Earth, by Gaia, and by the energy template with which we are kind of moving ourselves into, that there's no, it's if you were bowling,
Yeah.
you know, at the beginning, when you're a crap bowler, you've got the barriers up at the side, haven't you? So it doesn't matter how crap you are, the ball will just bounce off and you'll hit some pins. You're like, yay, I got some.
Yeah.
But now the barriers have come down, and you've got to get that ball in a straight line.
So
if
the
you want to
barriers were the lying to yourself almost.
Absolutely. But it was
Yeah.
also the energy, or the, I suppose the way to call it would be polarity.
Okay.
Polarity is not going to exist as we knew it in the fifth dimension. It is becoming less and less accessible as an energy that we are choosing to live in.
Yeah.
So it's becoming, you can still do it, but it's highly uncomfortable, and you are evidently kind of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually not in alignment.
Yeah, and you feel it somewhere.
And that's
bouncing
becoming
about.
so uncomfortable for people now
Yeah.
that they're having to make the decisions. Big time. Yeah.
No avoiding.
No avoidance.
No
No
avoiding.
avoidance. So
Wow.
yeah, we had our decade of avoidance and doing it all when the energy shifted from 3D to 4D, but
Yeah.
yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. I love it.
Happy days.
You mentioned kickboxing. Well,
Oh, the love of my life.
he didn't mention kickboxing. He mentioned bobbing and weaving. So for
Bobbing and
those that
weaving.
don't know, that is a move, bobbing and weaving.
Kickboxing term.
So that's how we met, through our paths crossed through kickboxing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For those of you that might not know, Karen is my kickboxing instructor, and you are a master, aren't you?
Yes,
A
the
sixth degree.
master in the art.
Master Mayne, 6th degree. So
Yeah.
we're very, very honoured to see and be part of that
Aw,
presentation, because
That was beautiful, wasn't
it was thoroughly deserved.
Oh, thank you.
And that's why I mentioned earlier that you have provided me with the space to basically bring, I mean, the thing I love about our sport is it doesn't matter what's happened during the day. I mean, this will be the same for everybody, but we've all got our thing. So it doesn't matter how the day has been, it doesn't matter what the challenges or the initiations are.
Yeah.
As soon as I step in there or I step into the boxing ring, it vanishes.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, the energy has been reset, and that's why I adore it. Apart from the fact that it's a skill, it's something to apply yourself to. We all love each other dearly, and it's
a family.
It's a wonderful
family. It's a sacred space.
It is a sacred
It's
space.
a sacred space. Anyone who walks through the door, it's just, I love it. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I see it as the reason I didn't have children was to make sacred space like that. So they're like all my children.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But
I love
it's
it.
gorgeous. Like you say, people come into these, whatever you use for your healthy channel
Mm-hmm.
of release, and people will come to kickboxing, and like you say, you can walk in there with a busy head, or you're up here, right, and you're in your head, and you come to somewhere and you drop to the body. We drop to the body and we use it through movement. And some people would say, you know, kickboxing is quite aggressive, it's quite hard on the body, but you need everything. You need all parts,
You
right?
do.
You need parts where you move the body softly. You need parts where you do move the body a bit erratic to almost get that out. Because it's a form of energy.
It is a form of energy.
It's a form of energy.
I mean, for you, for I, and for everybody else who's kind of involved in, I mean, it's a lovely segue to kind of mention how beneficial both Karen and I believe that martial arts is to the spiritual pathway, or to any movement, or to any sport, be it yoga, be it Tai Chi, be it running, be it kickboxing, netball, whatever you want to add your energy to. The movement and the expression of the physical body is very, very important for that release. And I think that, I mean, there's a bit of a taboo about it, because some people say, oh, it's violence, and it's like, that's not spiritual, but it couldn't be more spiritual. The way the two tie in together, it's just, I would not have one without the other ever, in any way, shape or form. So,
and this, the way that I've said before in my videos that I know we've spoken about, is everything's coming through, right? So you're the channel through, from the top to the bottom, through the whole thing. And if stuff's coming through and you're just allowing it to sit, then I almost see it as like electric bolts shooting around the body. It doesn't know where to go, doesn't know how to be. It can be stuck in any chakra that's going on. And that's where the blocks get. And this is where at the moment, dropping and moving the body how needed to is the release that we're all after. Right, this is what we're trying to find. So we can drop down, doing a lot of womb space stuff at the moment. So, but if you don't move the body, however that is, whether it is this or whether it is this, but it's needed.
it is needed.
And this is where it's so important to be in the moment, because this is where you hear what you need for this channel to flow.
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah.
It really is so important.
It's massive.
It's with that, I mean, it must be incredible for you as an instructor, because you see a side of people that is not usually seen by the outside world. So say, for example, you're taking people through a grading. Gradings are stressful. They're meant to be. You're bringing to the table everything that you've learned.
The stressors are rising.
Yeah, oh, it is. There's nothing quite like it. It's addictive. Well, I find it addictive. But from an instructor perspective, you are seeing people give over absolutely everything in ways that they would not do normally, because nothing will bring you into that state where, you know, like you've got nothing left in the tank. You know, all the masks and the mirrors all the masks are off. It's just you. And I thought that's something else I absolutely love about it. You can't hide.
And the words that you're using there, like, you know, you give everything you've got, you can't hide. This is emotionally coming through now.
Yeah.
So everything that you're doing and your terminology of words that you're using throughout your life, trying to connect it to the emotional side. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, people aren't hiding, and you can't hide in a grade. So everything's the lessons. It's the learn, the weaving, the web, as I see it.
The grand, great, illustrious,
the spider web.
the illustrious web of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all coming together.
It is.
Oh. Yeah, kickboxing is a blessing.
It
is
really
a blessing.
It's an absolute blessing, and thank you for providing that space.
I'm blessed with people that are amazing for it. Thank you for bringing that up. and it is important to you. What else is important to you, Tim, in your so you do, we know, everyone knows a lot of you, and your work is very important to you. We see that, we feel that.
Work, kickboxing, remaining. I think it's really important as a light worker in inverted commas to have a structure which is the structure outside of work, family, real life. I mean, we can't be heading, like I say, we can't be heading in the clouds all the time. You've got to have some aspect of your life that is real.
The grounding.
Yeah. And so I think maintaining my humanness is the most important thing. I've got everything that I need around me. I'm
lovely.
in a very blessed space, and of course there's work to do every single day, and so that's important to me. Being human, honouring my body, and actually making sure that I've given absolutely everything that I can to this process and to the people around me. And I am in an honoured position where people do come to me for guidance, for kind of like spiritual teaching, leadership, whatever you call it. And I think the next 10 years on this pathway are going to be very, very interesting.
Excited.
Very
I'm
excited. I'm genuinely excited to see where all this goes. I don't think we're not going to have some kind of Mad Max thing. We're just gently going to blend from where we were into the next phase, using this anchoring of the mighty I am presence in all of us and being bloody real. I think that's what it is. Once the illusion is disappearing, the blinkers are coming off, the world is becoming visceral. We're all here in our human bodies, and it's time to be human. But the version of humans that we were is very, very different from the version of human that we actually are. We're kind of a condensed form of the highest frequency soul light, kind of in this human body. I think that's so important at the moment, to acknowledge that and to just take ourselves on this journey in the bestest way possible.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
Giving each other, giving time. That's what I was just sat thinking. What was coming through then? Slowing down, giving yourself time. It's permission, isn't it?
It really is.
Permission to be real. And the thing that I have found, we've had these conversations of I'm almost in the dark and you're in the light, and it's that balance, isn't it? And I'm like, come on, Tim, get down in the dark.
Shadow
and you're like,
work.
come on, get up in the light. It's like this. I see this chew in the middle.
You are master of the shadow work. I was like absolutely in awe of but that's something else that's changed recently. I don't know I know you've noticed it. It's the fact that we're not having to dig for the issues to come to the surface. They're just there to deal with.
Things have bubbled. It's come up. I obviously see the earth is rising. So the earth is coming up, and people are, I can see people with their feet in the mud, and
they're like, oh, it's all right actually.
Yes, swimming. This is okay. It's not as scary as I thought it was. Being in the mud, but it's almost. A great friend of mine told me that it's amazing to go to the mud. You've got to come back.
Have a little forage.
Yeah, have a little swim. Absolutely, and then come back. And I was like, yeah, that's right, because sometimes you can get stuck in it.
Oh, you can.
So it's about having it all.
Addictive. It can become addictive.
Yes.
The dig can become addictive. So.
Yes, and again, that's another of those unhealthy behaviours.
Yeah.
It's too much of something.
Yeah.
We need a bit of everything, right?
Yeah,
bit of everything. And this is why connectiveness is powerful, because we need that to almost be brought back. You need to be brought back to what's real within Middle Earth. Yeah.
Middle Earth. Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more going off to Mordor.
You can.
Yeah.
Just come
if
back.
you want. If you want, can kidnap an orc and bring it back.
Oh.
Oh, brilliant.
So is there anything you wanted to ask me, Tim? I wanted to leave the space open. I can feel the sun coming through.
Yeah, I can feel the sun
it's
coming
gorgeous.
through. I don't know so much ask, but I just think more gratitude for bringing through the version of spirituality that you've mastered when you received that belt.
Thank you.
You know, like it's not just a master of the level of the martial arts, it's a mastering of the humanness of the pathway. So, you know, like I would ask you where you're going with it, but you don't know. You don't know where, from one day to the next. You're so
Tim,
in the
I don't
flow.
know what I'm doing in the next 10
Yeah.
minutes. I don't
This
know.
is it. This is it. So, I think just gratitude for you for
Thank you.
what you bring through the everything that you provide, and just to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. And it's an honour to, I believe, you know, soul contracts and stuff. So I'm glad that you were put on my path.
Likewise.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have I'd be very, I'm sure things would get to me how they were meant to.
Oh yeah.
But I
Yeah.
wouldn't have,
Things
I
have a
wouldn't be
tendency to
here.
find their way, don't they? They really do.
So do you think,
Morning.
So do you think that relieving the pressure and things will just slot into place anyway?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know you've said that to me many times, just stop.
Step back.
Yeah.
Step back. So I mean, this is something that you've again done many times. Is just literally when something seems like a kerfuffle and it's too much, when there's an overwhelm, it's just step back and observe from as much of a point of neutrality as you can allow.
Yeah.
And just watch it reform at a higher frequency.
Yeah.
That's you know, that's again, that's advice for everybody out there who's kind of like wondering what to do with, oh, this in this state, this seems insurmountable. Oh, this is a bugger's muddle, what do I do with it? Step back. Allow it some space to kind of breathe and grow and form in a higher frequency.
I see it as you calm, because it's calming the nervous system, it's calming the frequency, it's calming the body, and then it comes through. Because as soon as you are overwhelmed or too much, becomes that jagged, you know, blockage.
Absolutely.
And I think, I don't know if we should, because we know that I've mentioned before on my videos about the form of mental health.
Yeah.
Shall we go there?
The boxes. Yeah. The boxes.
Okay, the forms of mental health. So, yeah, categories. And I sit and question, what do people need them? And for me, I'm choosing my words. For me, I see mental health labels as blocks.
Absolutely.
I see them as blocks. And I know sometimes it's beautiful to have a label to understand something. But I was sat thinking actually yesterday about an ADHD label that was placed upon me, and I was thinking, okay, what gave me that? What did it mean? And when I look at what the traits of an ADHD person is on paper, it's actually where we want to be going with our daily living. It's living in the moment, not knowing, you know, giving yourself rest time, hearing what the body wants, and
unable to apply to boring, shitty tasks.
Yeah,
everything.
Absolutely.
You know
and
I
I
mean?
kind of think, is that what? I don't. So
Do you know what the human mind? the human mind likes boxes, it likes labels, it likes explanations, and in some cases it can be a moment of temporary relief to have an explanation given to you by somebody else who apparently knows more than you about your condition. But then on the other side of it, we have a very powerful, we create our personas, our energies, our circumstances around us very rapidly. So once you've taken that, I have ADHD and all of the things that are attributed to it, you then align yourself with that energy and that frequency, and it becomes a almost like a false persona. It's the only way to describe it, a false persona that somebody else has given to you.
You think you become.
Yeah, you think
right?
you become.
You think,
absolutely.
and then you become.
You do. So in some cases, I mean, it's great to have kind of medical definitions for something, explanations, but don't take them to heart. Is I think that's the message.
And it's not that you're everything.
No.
That is not your everything.
No.
And you can change the frequency of anything at any time. So even if something did serve you for that time,
it might not longer.
Yeah.
It might no longer.
It might not the next day. You can change it from moment to moment.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing is set in stone when it comes to energy and frequency, right?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people who are experiencing a huge shift in mental health at the moment, because we've come from such an oppressive vibrational space, and in order to gain freedom, we've got to kind of go through the processes, and that's why a lot of people, oh my god, I'm going mad, you know what I mean? So yeah, stick with it. You're not
part of the shifting,
it's all
release, the letting go.
I mean, if you're feeling like
shedding.
that, find somebody to talk to, reach out, speak to Karen. Any of these processes that you're going through at the moment, it's all part of the change. You are changing, I'm changing, we're changing.
Yeah, and it's all for your highest self of good. It's for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Oh, well, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. Oh, bless your heart. Brilliant.
It's been amazing.
Yeah,
and
it has. Thank you for the cacao as well. I think I've drunk my own body weight in it this morning.
And so thank you so much for everything you've done.
Likewise.
And for always being so open-hearted and welcoming, and to many of us that need it. And for being human.
Yay! Celebrate our humanness.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. Being human.
Celebrate
I love
our humanness. We're all angels and star seeds and
absolutely
and galactic points of light, but we're in human form.
Yeah.
And until we've mastered that, we're not going any further.
Which is one hell of a journey, right?
Hell of a journey.
One hell of a journey.
Hell of a
and
journey.
enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. And if you have tough times, then like you just said, seek help. Seek help. Reach out.
Become part of a group, part of a circle. Find people that resonate with you. Use your discernment.
Find that frequency. Change the
Some
path.
of us have got to start trusting again. It's a big move. Big move, isn't it?
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big love to all of you out there.
Lots of love to all of you.
Thank you for watching. Bye.